Everyone knows. Every religion, every philosophy knows one thing. What you sow, brother, you will reap. I live with those types of people. And I've seen your power last 5-7 years. And then either you do a lot of good and try to reverse it, or it is going to come back to you.
Come on, give it up for the bandies. For the beautiful rose that Naomi is. Wow. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, I want to first welcome our special friends from WOWLife Japan. They haven't been here for a while. Joe and Maki Mota. And their beautiful baby Toa. Yes. The gift from God. Welcome back, you guys. So lovely to have you all. Welcome back. Also, where is Christopher Gaston? We can't even spot you in the crowd anymore. You blended in so well. You blended in so well. This is his last Sunday with us. Yes, it's his last Sunday with us. I trust all of you have enjoyed him, been served by him, serving with him the last 1.5 years. 1.5 years where he surprised us on our doorstep. Do not do that again, anybody. But he surprised us again because so Christ-like. He silently has served so many people. He's been there for the sick. He's been there for the elderly. He's been there for the widow. He's been there for the orphan. He is just the epitome of Christ-like behavior. We have actually spent very little time with Christopher. Very little time. For 1.5 years, he's never put any demands on anyone. Served so silently in such a Christ-like way. We are really going to miss him. I mean, I actually asked him, are you sure you want to go? Are you sure you want to go? But I think he's led to just go and see where the Lord leads him in this season. Maybe he'll be led back. And wherever he goes to any WOWLife community or any community beyond even that, in terms of visiting and going, not leaving, whoever receives him will be tremendously blessed. He is truly a blessing. Truly a blessing. And we will most certainly miss him. But WOWLife World, he's coming towards you. I know he's going to America, but hopefully, I don't know, he'll be on your doorstep, surprising you. So when he comes, bless him, love him, receive him, accept him. You would not want him to leave. Yeah, bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you as you walk. As you walk, as you run, and as you even travel in cars, Christopher. Okay, yes, there's nothing else important to announce. So listen, you guys, Kirby's been trying to establish church from every different angle for you. And in doing so, he's labored in establishing your identity. Okay, and I think somewhere in grace, it's easy to lose that identity because it's like we're all the church, we're all God's children, we're all this, all that, and then you forget to have your boundaries clearly demarcated, okay? Why is it important to demarcate boundaries? I think it's important to provide the earthly vessel with clear definition so that the Spirit can incarnate, okay? Jesus could have not come in the form of a man. He could have not come in the form of a human. He could have just given prophetic utterances to various people in various parts, and we could have established something, but he chose, and it's controversial really, he chose to come as a man, as a Jew, okay, to a certain tribe, to a certain tongue. He chose to come so that then there will be no separation thereafter, but he chose. Okay, so now we know there is no separation. Now we know there's neither Jew, Greek, male, female, bondservant, master, bondservant. We know that, but in the world, we are individuals. I'm a woman, I'm half Chinese, I'm half Sri Lankan, I was born here. I'm a certain identity. Okay, you have a certain identity. We have borders and boundaries. We have ethnicities, we have a culture that is definitive, okay? And he loves that. He loves that as long as we know that it's not superior or oppressive to anyone else, right? That's why he established no separation, no division in the realm of the Spirit, okay? So that now we can love each other regardless of our color, our gender, our social strata, okay, and all of that. And so it's okay that you have your own identity. It's okay that you're peculiar, okay? It's okay that you like certain things, that you believe in certain things, that you're different from other people, that you were different as a church. It's good to have your own character. I hope people out there are listening. It's good to have your own identity. Stop copying anyone else. Yes. Right? Have your own identity. God wants that. You got to believe that you're a unique expression of Christ. Okay? And let that come out. And so that's what WOWLife is. We are our own unique identity. Okay? And we're so proud of that. We're really proud of that. And that is how we choose to serve the kingdom. Okay, this is how we want to be known. Okay, and we have demarcated defined those borders. Okay, our lines have fallen on pleasant places. Okay, and when the Spirit has to incarnate for certain things that we want, He knows where to strike. He knows where to fall. He knows where to come. It doesn't miss because the target is precise. Okay, and so that's who we are. And so I want to foster that for you guys. This is not some old concept of, I can go to any church, I can pop in here, pop in there. It's all the same. We want to break out of that because it's not. There's no covering and no protection in that. Okay, you are unique. And this is a unique place. And if you're called to be here, then you are here, own it. Okay, and there are challenges in fostering continuous relationship when it comes to community. It is like that in any place. In any place, okay? That's why even in the scripture, even in Hebrews, it says, do not forsake the assembly. Why do you think? Because people were getting all affected, You get affected when you relate with each other. There are issues, okay? There are differences. There are offenses. There are challenges. There are so many different things that are a thorn in your side, okay? And you're and sometimes you can just be like, I give up. Never give up. Never give up. I mean, obviously, certain people are more capable of being friends with certain people, but never give up on looking at each other through the finished work. Okay, never give up on that. And that is what we choose to foster in community. We value forgiveness out of choice, not out of necessity. Okay, we value believing in each other's continuous transformation. We do not forsake each other. We do not forsake the changing work that is transforming you. No matter, guys, for me personally, and I know all of you will probably relate to this. I have experienced love the greatest through forgiveness. Okay, and the Bible says, it says we can only love him because he loved us first. So we have received something that has caused us to respond. I mean, obviously you love your kids, you love your wife, hopefully forever, your husband, hopefully forever, your parents. There's natural familial love. There's friendship that is developed. But, I mean, we're talking of a different kind of love here. A love that surpasses all understanding, that causes us to outflow and love each other unconditionally as well. And the greatest experience of that is when you receive forgiveness. And Luke 7 actually says, there are two people, Jesus says, and they have two different debts, right? One is a greater amount and the other one is a lesser amount. And he says, who do you think, both their debts were forgiven. Okay, both the debts were forgiven. And he says, who do you think will love more? And then the disciple replies and says, well, the one who was forgiven more. The one whose debt was more. The one whose debt was more. And from that you can gauge that we foster humility. We really foster a culture of humility, self-reflection. You're not required to live up to some crazy standard. I remember the day we first walked into church. Remember the day you first walked in. How condemned, and you thought you wanted to perfect yourself before you came, right? Because it's church and everyone is of some standard, so to speak. Not, right? And there are all these different things, and there are people mailing us and saying, so-and-so is in your church, and I'm like, yeah, but everybody, falls in this kind of way. Yeah, but you're Christian. You see, there's a higher standard that the world places on you, but all it means to be Christian is to be true, to be self-reflective. We're not good, we're not nice, we're true. We're true. We're true because we can be true, because we do not have to be afraid, because we can come before his throne of grace and receive grace and mercy in our time of need. And when I'm not sure whether I feel that sometimes, because I feel so distant perhaps with a mistake I've made or something I've done, I know I can come to my priest, my leaders, even some in my community who will look at me and who will believe the best of me. Yes? Who will believe the best of me. Who will believe the transformation in play. Not, who will trust in the finished work that is at play. And that holds us together. And there is no limitation for that. There's no limitation. It's 7 times 7 times 7. It's forever. It's forever until we're all one in eternity. It's forever. And that's the pledge that we make to each other. That's the commitment. That's the communion that we share with one another. And that's what we want to foster with one another. Okay? And so that's why we want to foster, WOW is a place of grace. It's a place of transformation. It's a place of love. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's somebody divisive, willingly, knowingly, maliciously trying to cause division and do something and not under the covering in their hearts, we will not hesitate to give them one nice solid out of here, because it's not in our boundaries. It's not in our safe zone. It's not in the borders of this community safe zone. And that is to protect you. It is to protect you. Yes? Yes. And for that, and when that happens, we close the communion table. Okay, you'll be having communion soon, and Kay will go into all this. It's really precious. We're going so deep into what it means to discern the body, right? And that, in a broader sense, to discern the body, you think it's to discern everyone who is a believer. No. Let's discern this body. Let's discern what makes you unique. Let's discern what makes us WOW, and this is our identity. And then there's protection in that. There's protection. Okay, so I know it's going to be an amazing week for all you guys, okay? And we're going into a very special, important time for this nation, okay? And we don't tell anybody who to vote for. I'm not telling you who to vote for. But remember this, it'll be nice if a community is moving in one direction. It'll be really nice. But I'll tell you this is what we don't vote for. We do not vote for an ideology that we think is going to be our salvation. Okay? No ideology. No political ideology is your salvation vow. Okay? Christ is our salvation. You will not find righteousness in the places you're looking normally in those political spheres. You will find it right here with the leaders that are raised up. And you will find righteous people, but not in any ideology. Okay? I just was so led to stick that in there before I hand the mic over to Kay. All right, so are you ready for the word? All right, then give it up for Kay.
Your love got me feeling so high, got me feeling so high, got me feeling like I can change the world tonight.
Come on, yes. WOWLife Church, good morning to you. We are changing the world. We are busy doing it. Take a seat. Come on. You were very quiet while my wife was lecturing you. I hope you won't be quiet when I am preaching to you. Okay. I think Fiona is understanding that you are going to exercise your franchise in just a couple of days and weeks, and it is so important that we do speak. We don't tell people where to vote, like you saw. We have brought 800 pastors together at one point. We have a large franchise in this country, nearly 250,000 people. Yes, we can give a clap for that. So I'm glad that people see that franchise and value that franchise. And if people come saying, I value that franchise, I honor that. Anyone can come. The table is open. It's an open table for that. Anyone who comes and says, I see y'all, a minority that is persecuted, I want to be there for y'all, I will stand with any man who does that. Any man who stands for the people of God who are persecuted. Okay? Now, in saying that, I want to talk about your identity, because a lot of times the Christian gospel is preached that everyone is equal and that we've come to a round table, something like Camelot. Okay? And what's the name? Arthur. Is it Arthur? Yeah? Okay? So, but that's not the truth. In Christianity, it is not a round table. There is a head of the table, and there are people who take seats at the table in different ways and forms. And so it's important to understand that you have not come to a round table. You have not come to a democracy, neither have you come to a socialist club. You have come to the kingdom. Okay? And so the kingdom is very important. So that's why it says that this is a dominion, it's an authority. The kingdom, the dominion and authority is coming upon you. The kingdom of God is coming upon you. In 1 week's time, no matter where you vote, it is the dominion of the kingdom of today that will come upon you. It doesn't matter where the wind blows. Because if you're in the kingdom, you're always under authority. You're always under leadership. You're always under covering. You're always led. You're always under government. This is important to understand. You're always under a government that is far greater, that can sort your needs out in one moment of time, far greater than what the government of the world understands. A centurion comes to Jesus, and he is under the most powerful empire of the world, the Roman Empire. And he's a centurion because he is in charge of many, many people. He comes to Jesus while Jesus is on a walk, and he says, Lord, and the word Lord there means the one who can command me. Now, for a centurion to come to Jesus and say Lord, it's because he's accepting that even though Caesar is his boss, that he can come and get the lordship and the government of Jesus. And therefore, he, in his rank, submits. And Jesus says, I'll come to your house and heal your servant. He says, don't come to my house and heal my servant. If you speak the word, I know what it is. If you say, come, I know I'm a man under, authority. If I know what it is, if I say come, for someone to come. If I say go, for someone to go. I know what authority is. Jesus, you don't come to my house and submit to me. I'm going to submit to you. So this is a very important message for this season for you. You submit to the kingdom of God, my friends. Okay? And everything else is added unto you. The best thing that you can do is submit to the dominion and the authority and the goodness and the righteousness of God's kingdom, which is so important in this season, because the winds of change are moving up and down. But if you want to be steadfast, then you will go and build your house on a rock that does not shake and does not change. Do you understand that? And therefore, when you do cast your franchise, and when you do declare a thing, it shall be established. Because you come from an unshakable kingdom. What you say my dear church, in a nation is what matters. The Bible doesn't say if all the people of a nation humble themselves and pray that he will heal the land. He says if my people call under my name, humble themselves, they will heal the land. Okay? So let me talk to his people. His people, the word is ecclesia. The word ecclesia means the ones who, actually the word ecclesia means the ones who are called out. But if you actually go back to that word, it's kuriekon, which means church, which is the word church or kirk, and Kirby came from, okay? With kirk, you see that the story, the word, the kuriekon, it means the ones who belong. It's a beautiful word, kuriekon. Means that you belong. How many of you belong here? What does it mean to belong? It's a beautiful word. It's something that is missing in today's society. No one belongs. No one belongs. No one has their identity because they want to assimilate. They want to be a part of everything. They think that love is being a part of everything. The love means a oneness that dilutes their individuality. You see, a love that dilutes your individuality, that means you have no unique identity. So therefore, let's all be Sri Lankans. That's a good concept. I agree that we are all Sri Lankans. But I'm also a Sinhalese Sri Lankan. You are a Tamil Sri Lankan. You understand that? God came and incarnated a Tamil Sri Lankan. Can you believe that? Jesus came and incarnated a Tamil Sri Lankan. He came and incarnated a Sinhalese Sri Lankan. I don't know what this one is. She's from she's from Britain, or she's Anglo-Saxon or something like that. So probably her great-grandfather was something like Ethelred or something like that. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that God came and incarnated Ethelred. Okay, Jackie's great-grandfather. Because he's very interested in your unique identity. He doesn't want to dilute your unique identity. When he came on the day of Pentecost, he divided the tongue and spoke in your language because he's very interested in it. And I've been laboring on this because this is the missing portion to assimilation and getting together. The Bible says that my lines have fallen on pleasant places. That means my boundaries are very clear. My boundaries are very clear. Now, if you just understand the Holy Spirit to be like water, and that's exactly how he's preached. He's like water that is poured into a vessel. And you'll understand that water will take the form of the vessel. Do you understand that? And so unless you know your form, unless you know where your boundaries are, where you stop and where you start, what you agree and what you don't agree with, okay? Unless you know what this house and what we believe and what we think and how we think, you won't be able to get, it'll leak. The Holy Spirit wants to incarnate. The whole idea of Jesus and the Christian doctrine is not going upwards. We're not ascending. The whole understanding of Christianity, the difference between every other faith, is that we're not ascending, we are descending. The Spirit is trying to come in, the Spirit which is you, the Holy Spirit is coming to incarnate a very specific beingness. The question I'm asking is, who are you? Where do you belong to? What is your belonging? Do you know who you are? Where are your boundaries? Now, once you know that, you can love. Because I truly love Jackie as a white woman, right? I truly love her in my nationality. Me, a Sinhalese man from Sri Lanka, loves Jackie and Ralph. Do you understand that? You see, I've not diluted my identity to love them. Very, very important. This is what people don't get. They're like, oh, no, let's all be just one. No, I can't be one. We laugh at it, different jokes. You see, our humor is different. Sometimes we are sitting there when Jackie and Ralph are there and we're a group of friends and we sit and we're talking in Sinhalese and all of the guys are constantly talking in Sinhalese. Like, you know how guys get together and talk in Sinhalese and Ralph is like, what? So I was like, translate. You see, because we are distinctly different. Do you understand that? I remember a time I got really upset when I went to Dubai and I was sitting with the Emiratis and we were doing a massive company there. I was a partner of the company, and so the owner and the chairman of the company, and I was also a partner of the company. I had a decent percentage of the company. It's an $8 billion company now. At that time, it's $1 billion they were turning over. At that time, I was a partner of this company. And as a partner of this company, every time they went out for dinner with their friends, and I'm the only Sri Lankan guy there, or I talk English, they would just talk in their language. And after a little while, I was like, this is so rude. Yeah. But then I realized that that's them. And when they want to talk to me, they talk to me in English because for me to understand, but when they talk to each other, they're talking in a different language. And I realized that there's something about our identities with each other that we need to respect in this nation. And this is what is coming. I'm glad you are who you are, and I want to honor you for who you are, and I want you to see my differences. I don't want to change your differences, neither do I want you to change mine. You see, and that's not tolerance. It's really reconciliation. Because I need you, because you make me. It's like there's so many cells in this body. I'm getting to a place of why church is important. There's so many cells in this body. We can say, yeah, we're all one body. The heart cell is very different to the brain cell. There are neurons in the brain, and there are cells in the heart. There's some neurons in the heart as well, right? But the stomach cells are different to the cells in the heart. The lungs are different, you see? And so each organism takes its identity, which is important. It is so important because without a lung, the heart can't survive. Without a heart, the lung can't survive. And therefore, we are one body. So when we are saying you're Christians, I agree that we're all Christians. From the Orthodox to the Roman Catholics, to the Anglicans, to the Methodists, to all that, to the Charismatic, to the Pentecostals, to the INA, Indian National Apostolic Diocese, to who we are. We are who we are. Unashamed, unapologetic. We are defined by who we say and who our elders and our leaders say we are. You got it? And we're very proud of it. Very, 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 very proud of it. And when you make the vessel with the God can come and incarnate. Just imagine you say, come God, come. But where do I come? Who are you? Where is your boundaries? What do you believe in? I'm okay. Just understand, I'm just going to give a depiction. Shall I give a depiction to the church? Okay. Depiction of why you are here, why you're at a church, why you come to a church. The church has a function in every man's life. If the church is not there, a simple sacrament, a simple ordinance. Last Sunday, we're going to have a communion table, and you're going to eat communion. Okay? And you're going to have communion. The simple sacrament of once a month to be able to come to self-reflect and be able to eat that communion and eat of that body and say, this is the body of Christ and this is the body of Christ. And in this place, I received the forgiveness of sin. Waiting for that sacrament to come, waiting for that self-reflection to come, preparing yourself to eat from the table is a very important thing. It's not just the thing that you normally do. It's like, wow, last Sunday, why don't we have communion every day? You can have communion every day. No, we prepare you for the communion that is going to be had once a month. Now, that is a grace that you have to be able to come to the table together. Can you do communion at home? Yes, you can. But as long as it has to do with the body and the community. Now, let me show you something. I'm going to give you a depiction of something, okay? Can we read Matthew 18, just for you to understand this? Matthew 18 is a wonderful, wonderful chapter of ecclesia. Government, the word government, okay? This is what happens when you come to church. Now, people say, you think you come to church just to listen to a message and feel good. But Matthew 18 says it differently. Matthew 18, Jesus says that church is a place like this. Watch what happens in church, okay? Look at the power of this church, okay? Matthew 18, let's take it from, and then I'll give you a depiction, okay? This is what's happening right now. This kind of power is happening right now. This is, watch what's going to take place. So he says, Matthew 18, verse 6. Okay, now, read carefully with me. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, the word sin there is scandalon, the Greek word stumble. That means he can't see, he's blind. Stumbling means that he can't see and therefore he stumbles. It would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe to the world because of offenses. For offenses must come, but woe to the man by whom the offenses come. Is it there? Okay, now watch this. He says, look, the little ones means not kids. Little ones means the innocent. The ones who are coming to receive. Many come to receive. Woe to a person who makes that person stumble. So out there, why you come is because you've stumbled. You were innocent. You got into a business dealing. that you thought was a good business dealing. That guy took advantage of you. He robbed you. He cheated you. That's why you come to church. Your heart is defiled. You're hurt. You're upset. You're offended. Another man, not only has just betrayed, but another man, maybe his wife has betrayed him. And he's feeling hurt, offended, upset. And he comes to church. This is this morning. I'm talking about this morning service. What is happening here? Why do we come? Another person has been hurt and offended because maybe of political persecution. You see? And now he's come into church this morning. Each man comes here because of different issues. I mean, we all are human, right? And today all of us are hurt with our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our husbands, our wives. Come on, humanity is broken. You see? And hurt people hurt others. And so now this man who comes in broken comes into a community, an ecclesia. This is a very interesting verse here. When all Corinthians, when you have this is one body and all that, he says, if your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and cast it from you. Wow. That's different to what you hear in communion, that if you're a foot, then I need you. You're a hand, I need you. You're an eye, I need you. He said, no, if your foot is causing you to do this, you need to anathema. The word cut it out there is a word called anathema. Not fellowship. Koinonia is fellowship. Anathema means cut it out. Okay? So that's really interesting that he says, because he says that's how the health of the body can be secured. If something gets infected, then we need to be able to not bring it in. The infection can spread. Come on, we know this. Yeah? We need to be able to remove it, amputate, cut it out. Did you just see it there? This is to protect the sheep. Now watch this. Now watch. This is so cool, okay? And he goes on a little more, and we'll go into verse. Are you guys okay this morning? Yeah? You're listening carefully, right? We're going into the word a bit, okay? All right, okay. This is really interesting. And this is where the power is, okay? There is more happening here than just a man preaching. That's what I want you to get. There is more happening here than a man. This is not an event. It's not a stand-up. It's not, come on, it's not entertainment. I mean, I get entertaining sometimes. Okay, rarely, okay? But it's not that. There's something happening here that is bigger than you. Now it explains this. Now it explains. Now with all your hurts, you come with your hurts. Come on, anyone here has got hurt? Come on, anyone here has got hurt? Yeah. Can I have a show of hands? Anyone here got hurt? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. This guy's more hurt than that. Are you guys hurt? Is there anyone here who got hurt? Anyone here got hurt? Yes. Okay, this whole row is hurt. That's cool. You come to the right place. He says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me to heal the brokenhearted. This is why the Spirit comes. So that you can be healed. Anyone here hurt? These guys look solid. These guys, these guys. Okay. All right. So, come on, guys. Human, broken, let down. We come to church looking for a solution, looking for God to do something. There's something happening here bigger than just a man preaching. Yes. Do you believe that? Yes. Okay? These words are a two-edged sword. They come to you to separate soul and spirit, bone and marrow. And they bring in a solution to you. Now listen carefully what happens here. This is beautiful. Verse 15. Verse 15. Moreover, if your brother sins against you, go tell him his fault, between you and him alone. If he hears you, you have gained your brother. But if he will not hear, take with you one or two or more, that by the mouth of two or three witnesses, every word will be established. And if he refuses to hear them, tell it to the, where? Tell it to the? Tell it to the? Okay, pastors who are ministering today, can you stand up? Pastors who are ministering today after the service, please stand up. Okay. These are your pastors. They'll be ministering today after the service. Please go to them. If someone is hurt here, broken, betrayed, let down, go tell it to the? Church. Come on, go tell it to the? Church. Go tell it to the? Church. Thank you. You can sit down. Yeah.
If you're hurt with one of the pastors,
yeah.
go to the other pastor.
Yeah. If you're hurt with one of them, go to the other one. Okay? But it doesn't have to be hurt with each other. It's be outside. Are you broken? Are you let down? Are you betrayed? Have you been taken? Have you been exploited? Have you exploited? Have you hurt? Have you betrayed? Come on, go tell it to the church. Go tell it to the church. You see, what happens when this happens. This is how you get healed. This is how you get restored. This is how power is done. There's something happening here more than just this message. You got it? Okay. Go tell it to the church. But if he refuses even to hear the church, let him be like to you, a heathen and a tax collector. And a lot of people don't understand this term. They think, oh, this is like a bad term, or heathens and tax collectors are bad. They're not. If there are a whole lot of tax collectors in this church, I'll really love it. Okay? It's not that. It means it means that now they are not a part of your covenant promise. There's power happening here. You might not understand this till I explain this next story, but I want you to read this next one, verse 18. This is an amazing verse here. Amazing verse of what is happening here at church. How many times did you see church there? Twice. Ecclesia twice. There's something happening here that looks like this. Come on, guys. Don't you want to win? Don't you want to win? Don't you want to win? Don't you want to win over the trouble that is coming to you? Don't you want to win over the sickness that is coming to you? Don't you want to win over the situation that is coming to you? Then tell it to the church. The church means ecclesia. Church means government. We don't use the church for what it's supposed to be. We come to church, hear an inspirational message, go back home. And they may say, but why isn't there no power? Because you're not using the ordinances of the church. The pastors will come. You're not using them so that someone can agree with you. Yeah. Someone needs to see, a pastor, ordained person needs to agree with you. Like, I agree, that's completely wrong. Come on, let's pray. Yeah. Something happens. Something changes. Something happens. Don't go home alone. Don't go home thinking, oh my God, I'm just going to take that pain back. No, come and leave it with them. They will pray for you. They'll agree with you. Something will shift and change. Watch this. Again, I say to you that if two or three, you see that? You see, if I say to you that if two of you agree on earth concerning anything that they ask, it will be done for them by the Father in heaven. Is it there? Yeah. So, for where two or three are gathered together in my name, I am there in the midst of them. Do you just see it there? Now we call that in diocese, we call it a synod. So I don't need all of you to agree with me. Isn't that cool? It's not a democracy. Yeah. It's not a democracy. I don't need all of you to agree with me. I just need 2 or 3 to agree with me. Do you get it? So I got my prayer team, I got Therese. And I say, come on, Therese, let's agree. It's called a synod. Okay, 2 or 3 get together. And we agree upon something. And it shall be established. And it shall, they say it shall be established? It shall be established. It shall be, right? Are we doing this at church? Why are we not doing this at church? This is what church is about. This is what we're called to do. Why are we suffering? Because we need 2 or 3 people, ordained elders, to do exactly this, to forgive, to hold back forgiveness, to agree or not agree. Do you understand that? You see, when it is done, something is, say established. Say established. Say established. Yes, things get established. So the Bible says it like this in another place, what is bound on earth is bound in heaven. Actually, it's very deep teaching. It's actually quantum entanglement. Means if you bind this here, it also gets bound there, simultaneously. So as they agree with you, that thing gets bound or loosed. Come on. This is church. This is power. This is authority. This is the government of God. That is why we do what we do. It works. Come on, man. I'm not just telling you some mystical thing that doesn't work. We do this constantly, continuously, and we're seeing the authority and the power of this. Try it out and see whether these words are true or not. This is why church was established. And he said the gate of Hades, in chapter 16 to chapter 18. Chapter 16, he says, if this thing is done, if you buy, I'll give you he said, these are the keys of the kingdom. He said, how dominion, kingdom, remember, not democracy, not socialism, it means how this dominion works. It's a dominion. He said, these are the keys of the kingdom of binding and loosing, and not even Hades, hell, can come against what I just told you. Are you sick? Are you suffering? Do you want to be healed? Agree with 2 or 3 people. Talk to an elder. Get them to agree with you. Explain your case. Bang! You see miracles. I'm going to share a few things. Share a story that will bring this into light. Are you ready for the story? Yes. All right, okay. So, we get back to Britain, okay? Right? Because Britain is better. I won't bring the local scene. But anywhere in the world, We go 1,000 years, 1,500 years ago. Okay? You go, I showed you, depicted this on Tuesday, and I'm going to depict it again. Are you ready for this story? Yeah. This is what it looked like. Because those days, before 1000 AD, there was only one church. After 1000 AD, there became two churches. Okay? After that, it broke and broke and broke, like Jesus prophesied, my body is broken for you. So it broke and broke and broke and broke and broke. Okay. Now, listen carefully to what the church looked like, and then it's a depiction of why you need church and what is the grace of becoming and coming to church. Here is the story. If you go back 1,500 years, you realize that a place like England had the Saxons, like I was explaining, the Britons, I don't know, Jackie might be able to educate us more, the Anglos, or the Angels, okay, those guys, not the Hells Angels, but similar, okay, that kind of stuff. And so you have these massive tribal aspects, each of them worshipping Celtic gods, from Thor to all the Viking gods and all this kind of stuff. Just understanding their lifestyle at that time was, you will think it was different to us, but I don't think it was so different to us. It was quite similar, okay? The barbaric tribes would go out and they would raid. And they would take slaves and land and people, and they would kill and they would rape, and they would come back. That still happens in this world, please, okay? Hopefully we won't see any of that at the end of this week. But there's a fear of that. Trust me. We are still, we saw that in this country. We saw all the kind of stuff happen just a couple of years ago. Please understand. When there's brokenness and poverty, men do all kinds of things, my friend. When people are desperate for power, all kinds of things happen. Please know that. And so, in those parts of the world where darkness, deep darkness was there, and that is the culture of the people, slaves and people in bondage. There's no respect for what a marriage is. They don't even know what a marriage is. A man will have a wife and 4 concubines. Do you understand that? There was not any loyalty to any man or woman. It was power ruled. In a place like that, a humble servant of God will come. He'll go into the middle of the town. He'll set up a steeple, and he'll put the cross right up there, so that everyone can see. So when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, those crazy Christians, they're building that thing again. And so they'll mock, and they'll laugh, and they'll try to kill, and probably kill the first guy who comes, then the second guy comes again, then the third guy comes, But by the time the guy comes, there are 3 martyrs already dead. 3 guys who come before him, all were killed, but then here we go again, the Christian is coming again. And then they're like, what? I just killed, didn't you know I killed the last guy? What are you doing? And the king in that area will say, I killed the last guy who came, why are you coming again? Oh no, we come to lay our life down. Kill me again. Because the more the blood of the martyrs has saturated this land, it's better for me. Because the blood is going to speak. So the cost is paid. And then finally one guy, they say, okay, we're fed up, we're killing them all, but they keep coming. Okay? So he builds his church, and they say, okay, let's go and see what is going on. And the guy comes, and he starts his Sunday service. Sunday service, they all come, all these barbarians come and sit. Each one, the barbarian king has already killed his own father to take the throne. So he's sitting in the front row seat. Okay? And then the other barbarians, one has killed his own brother and took in his wife. The other guy has killed his neighbor and all that, and the slaves and all that. And so you can understand what it's like. And the priest will start saying, do you know that we have something called the forgiveness of sin? Yeah. They're like, yeah, so what does that do? Without power for them, it's useless. The whole world surrounded power. So you must understand, they're looking for this amazing power and strength. They're looking at this humble, lowly man and say, what can you give us? He says, I can give you the forgiveness of sin. And he says this, he says, just understand, the next time you go to war, O king, because of what you did to your father, and he looks at the next barbarian general and says, because of what you did in the last city, and you went and pillaged and raped and killed innocent children, you know what you did. He said, the next war you fight, you will be taken as a slave. And you will be taken. Because, ladies and gentlemen, anyone knows, you can be a barbarian and not understand anything, but anyone knows that what you sow, you will reap. That's why you are here. Everyone knows. Every religion, every philosophy knows one thing. What you sow, brother, you will reap. I've lived in those lands, in these times, but in those lands. I live with those types of people. And I've seen 5 years, 7 years. Your papa lasts 5, 7 years. And then either you do a lot of good and try to reverse it, okay? Or it is going to come back to you. Jesus comes. Don't worry, you can answer the phone. Jesus comes. Jesus comes. And he says, literally, through the priest, we can forgive you your sins. And it's like, no, but don't worry, I've sorted that problem out. Actually, I have seek forgiveness. Each other, we've hugged each other, we've sorted this problem out. It's okay, we don't need your forgiveness, priest. It's like, how did you sort this out? Tell me, explain to me. So 2 people, say the wife has betrayed the husband. And the husband cheated, gone with the king, and this man is left alone, feeling betrayed. How have you? He says, no, don't worry, I've sorted it out with my wife. I had a chat over dinner, we've sorted it out. How have you sorted this out? The priest asks. He says, well, we hugged and we forgave each other. Within our faith, we could do that. We can hug and feel really good and we're forgiven now. We're talking of the son to a father. Okay, I know he killed my father, but the other brother has forgiven him. It's okay. We feel good. We're okay. Like, no. You might have forgiven and you feel emotionally good, but no one has paid for your sins. Just because you have forgiven each other emotionally, there is no transaction of equity. Just because you two feel good, who's paid for you? You think that the karma will still come? You might feel good, but who paid for it? Like, you killed your father. I mean, that's drastic then, but now today you can say you betrayed your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your husband, your wife. You betrayed your partner. We betray each other all the time. Come on. Employers, you're a big corporate guy. When you had to let those people go, how do you feel? Do you think that's right today that they're begging? You think that they cry? Do you say it's a corporate, I take a corporate decision? Corporate decision? Yeah. The man is on the road. You think that he's crying? Could you be a judge? Could you be so fair? Are you God? That you could really judge when you make a corporate decision and 20 people are let go? Do you really think that you did the right thing and that it's okay that you just gave them a handshake and gave them a couple of 100,000 rupees? You think that is not going to be found wanting? We live without the fear of God. We live without the fear of God. People have no fear of God. They say, oh, well, but it's okay. I made a corporate decision. And I have to say to you, no, brother. There has to be a transactional forgiveness here. Come to the church. Talk about what you feel. Ask for the communion. Say, can someone pay for what I couldn't pay for? I have let go. I've been in that world. I have let go of people. I have let go of suppliers. I have let go of partners. And I have felt, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how they're going to survive. I have felt. And God is looking for no man is good. There's no man who's just. There's no man who can justify, who can balance the scales. And therefore, the priest tells the king, when you go to war, you'll realize what happens. He goes to war. He fights the battle. He loses his only begotten son in the battle. Next day, he's back at church on a Sunday. And he's like, priest, I lost my son in battle. He was the greatest warrior. I can't imagine. He was going to take my kingdom. He says, I told you. I tried to protect you. I put the cross up here. I came and set up a steeple. I brought the ordinance of the communion and the forgiveness of sin so that you can be protected. God is ready to forgive you of your sin. He can transact for it. It's not a feel-good thing. He will pay. It's transactional. He will pay. You eat the bread because he pays. And you receive it humbly and say, I need forgiveness. I'm not God. I need forgiveness. And I need a payment for the mistakes I make in my life. And thank God for the table that's going to be laid out. I speak to the pastors. I'm waiting for that day where I can eat on the table and say, I'm a part of a covenant family. And you eat on the table. And suddenly he goes to war the next day. And he wins the war. And he says, wow, with all the wicked things that I did, how did that happen? He says, God saw that your heart was repented. God saw that you want to change your ways, that you will be a good king. And suddenly, the wars are won, and the kingdom suddenly is glorified. Once again, their harvest is full. Their warriors are strong. The plague is stopped. Because they come for just one of the ordinances. I'm just teaching you one of the ordinances. Huh? There are 7 ordinances we don't practice in the charismatic faith. We practice 3 of them. I'm talking about the power of one of the ordinances that I celebrate so much. And I say, guys, get ready. Forgiveness of sin is the most important thing. Does God love you? Yes. But if you don't ask, it's not transactional. If you think it's just been done, it's not transactional. You have to know what is being paid. It's a price, it's a cost, it's a life. You have to know that it is worth that life. The mistakes you make, it's worth a life to be given for those mistakes. If you don't have a demand for it, God is not going to give it. Then the table is closed. The table is closed if you don't have a demand for it. You're like, no, I'm okay, don't worry. No, I'm desperate. When are we going to have communion, Kirby? Will you pastors forgive me? And I'm going to be one again with the body, and I'm going to be protected and brought under the covering. Come on, man. Okay, let's stop with this. This is important. Okay, the king does well. He's growing his businesses. I'm not talking to you kings. Your businesses are growing. You've got new cars, new houses. Okay, new employers. You've grown your business. You're doing well. Kirby, I came to church and eat off the communion table and got your forgiveness of sin and speak to you, and I've shared my heart about my situation. I'm so blessed. Everything's growing, okay? And then guess what happens? They stop communioning, right? And they forget, the king forgets the God who had done it. His cousin takes over. They forget who God is, and they forget the steeple and forget the cross, and they forget that seek ye first the kingdom. And when you seek that, everything goes right. They forget about all that. And after a little while, they say, who is this priest? And they bring other aspects, other gods, if you want to call it. And they worship, and those other gods, idols can be anything. It can be your work. It can be your marriage. It can be an idol, please. Okay, it can be your relationship. And they bring other gods amongst this one God. Those gods can't forgive you. Those gods didn't die for you. Those gods didn't have a transactional equity. They can't. And they say, oh, I've got a good network, and I've got a good mentor, and all this kind of stuff. And then they forget. I'm just trying to show you why church. And then, now watch this. We'll close with this. This is a big revelation, okay? Are you ready? Yes. Okay. Just lift your hands up in the glory. Say, Jesus, open my eyes. Jesus, open my eyes. 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 Now you're going to see, remember there was only one church, okay? This is very, very important. When you see this, it's mind-blowing, okay? You know what the priest does in those days? He'd say, oh, the king has gone away from God. He's gone and got himself some other god or whatever it is, and he doesn't have any need for us any longer. Because of that, it's nothing to do with sins. Please understand. It's not to do with whether the king is sleeping around, whether you're sleeping around. It's not to do with whether you're smoking or drinking. It's because by choice, you have chosen to be apart, out of the body. By choice, you have chosen something bigger. You're not seeking kingdom first now. Now it's every once a month. You understand that? Because of that, then what happens is, what the priest does in those days, he says, you know what? Close the doors of the church. Take the relics down, and we are going on strike. Yes, that's what they used to do. That was what anathema was. And the church used to close the doors. The people used to come and bang the doors, hey, what's Sunday service now? We're not having Sunday service today. Why? What about Sunday service? We can't give you Sunday service today. No, but we want Sunday service. No, but your king doesn't want it. The people have gone astray. I can't give you Sunday service. They hold it so tight. Today we just say, oh, yeah, yes, WOW is an open communion. WOW is an open communion, please. We say anyone can come and eat off our table, please. But I respect the Catholics who say you can't eat off their table. I respect the Orthodox Church that tells the Catholics that, you do know that the Orthodox Church, the original church, the Orthodox Church, they don't allow Catholics to eat off their table. They were the original church. and they found, oh, these guys are not wanting to communicate, we'll cut you off. The Catholics don't allow, the Roman Catholics don't allow the Anglicans to eat off their table. Or they'll allow, but they don't much like it. Okay? Just think about it. Because why? I respect that. Here is an open table. By choice. Not because it's right. Not because you're entitled. You come through these doors, you sit here every day. You can eat off the communion table. I want you to. But it's because I am saying with my wife and with my leadership and with my bishops, I say it's okay to come and eat off my table. But I respect the others that say, don't eat off the table. Because why do you want to eat off their table when you're not a part of them? Do you just get it? To honor them, you don't go into their church and try to eat off the table. To honor them, you respect their identity. But here, WOWLife Church, bring your friends. Bring anyone. I say, I give you permission to eat off this table, to be a part of this amazing body called WOWLife Church. It's a grace. It's a grace. It's a grace to be a part of us. Because you get what is upon our lives, upon you. Did you just get that? But guys, please know that to be a part of a church is the greatest grace. Because in those days, they would lock the doors. And it's like, but what about communion? They'll say, but what about communion? They'll say, no, we're not giving communion to anyone. That's what they used to do, sir. They used to lock the doors and not allow anyone into the church. And they said, when are you going to have service? When the king repents. And suddenly, the sun gets darkened. The storms come. The plagues come. I'm just trying to show you. In those days, children are dying at young ages. Families are going into chaos, divorces. No one trusts anyone. The king is being ousted. There's a rebellion in the land. This is what happened those days. This is how this happened. This is how the church became who the church was. And the king would come. These are true stories. I'm telling you historical stories. Historical stories. The king would come without shoes, because he's not supposed to come with shoes at this point of time. In sackcloth and ashes. Sackcloth and ashes means something's happened to my land. I need to eat off your table again. I need to come into the house of God again. I need to come into the house of God again. One thing I ask. Can I have David's psalm? One thing I ask. One thing I seek. We close with that. One thing I ask, he says. There's only one thing I seek, the king will say. I want to be able to come to the house of the Lord again. I want to eat off the table again. I want to see the beauty of God again. And then the priest will say, O king, because you repented, we're going to have communion and allow you to eat off this table again. Come on, what a beautiful thing. That's a church, man. This is not a place of entitlement. It's a place of honor. It's a place of love. What a privilege to be able to come to church and be in the house of the Lord. David sings it like sings the song. So Eddie, just go right to the end. One thing I ask. He says, David's a king who set up the tabernacle, says it like this. One thing I've desired of the Lord. Say one thing. Say one thing. I've desired of the Lord. Not 10 things, not 5 things, not cars, not houses, not to be healed, not to live a long life. One thing I've desired of the Lord. That will I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, if it was easy to dwell in the house of the Lord, he won't ask for it. A king can ask for anything. Do you understand that? If it was easy to be here this Sunday morning, if it was easy to really be a part of a church, he won't ask that this is the one thing. He said, there's only one thing I ask. Oh God, let me dwell in your house forever. Don't let it be taken away from me, Lord. Because out there as you go from today onwards, you will see that there are many things out there who will take you away from this one thing. This is the one thing that David, a king who knew God's heart, asked. That I may dwell in the house of the Lord forever. All the days of my life. I spoke to Nishan yesterday. I'll just give you an example. Nishan's here from Australia. I met him yesterday and he told me, he said, okay, I won't be coming to church today. He has to walk on his political trip and go around. And he said, I won't come to church today. But then I saw him this morning. I said, Dish, what are you doing here? Then he said, no. Okay, I thought this was important. It's the last day before election. This is the most important thing. One thing. Powerful people know one thing, my friend. People who don't have power don't know this damn thing. This is what it is. Can I have it up? One thing I desire of the Lord that I will seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord forever, all the days of my life. And this is what it is lost, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. This is the one thing. To see the beauty of the Lord is very hard. Every day to look at your beautiful faces, to hear your problems, to see your offenses, to see your hurts, to see what you do. I'm the one who hears everything now. It's very difficult to see your beauty, the beauty of the Lord. But God has given me a grace, both of us. God has given us a grace to look at you all constantly and see gorgeous. The bride is beautiful. Gorgeous. Gorgeous bride. And I hope that God gives you the same eyes. Ask for it. Ask for the same eyes. God, give me the eyes that I can see the beauty of the church. Not when I come, oh, so-and-so is here. Oh, that one is here. Oh, that one, that's scandalizing. Oh, do you know that person's life and that person's life and this person's life? No, brother. Ask this one thing, that they will be supernaturally revealed to you. That you will see the beauty of every single person comes. It doesn't matter how broken they are. That they will be able to see the beauty. But like Fiona says, I constantly see the beauty. That's my mistake. But that doesn't mean we can't know you for who you are. We're also strong leaders. You see beauty, but we're also strong leaders. And we are part of, because we believe in you. Yes, we believe in you. Come on, let's just stand. Just stand up. I'm going to pray over you. Today, the pastors will be here. Go up to them. You can trust them. You don't have to tell them your whole life story. Some people start with the whole life story. Just say, Pastor, I want you to pray and agree with me. These are the problems that I'm having. You don't have to give any of the details. This is not a confession chamber. Father, we praise you. We thank you. Come on, lift your hands up and give him all the glory. Can we have the Lord's Prayer? Can we have the Lord's Prayer? Yeah. And can we sing the Lord's Prayer? Is that okay? Yeah. And then afterwards, I want you guys to come to the pastors and get your forgiveness and your blessing.